Dovin becoming the first victor of the current top 6 orbit on May 27th, 2026.
Did you know that RobTop almost made an extreme demon?
Back when Yadagarasu was still being built, Viprint asked RobTop if he wanted to build a port, which RobTop actually agreed to do, but then nothing really happened after that.
Zoink just admitted he's been lying about his slaughterhouse completion this entire time.
At the start of 2022, Sakubin Circles was top 1 and Slaughterhouse was number 2, but Soink
I
then
just-
said Slaughterhouse was harder, which was a big
accidentally
part in the
created
others
a
being
server.
flipped, which Soink recently admitted was a lie all
I
along.
accidentally created a
Speedrunning
server.
GD Shorts.
What happened to Orbit
I
Easy?
want to
Even though
find
Soink
a
promised an
server.
easier version of Orbit would be released, it has now been over half a year and we have not heard anything about it.
Is this part in Geometrical Dominator possible with different
Big
game modes?
This part in Geometrical Dominator is possible with the swing, the robot, the ball, the wave, the ship, and is impossible with the cube and the spider.
This genuinely underrated player just became the first victor of Orbit with an insane fluke.
The player is called Dovin, with Dovin becoming the
Recently, on some forum somewhere, I found a handful of things written by real students in history exams. I'll just read you a few quick. The greatest writer of the Renaissance was William Shakespeare. He was born in the year 1564, supposedly on his birthday. Louis Pasteur discovered a cure for rabbis. It was an age of great inventions and discoveries. Gutenberg invented removable type and the Bible. Another important invention was the circulation of blood. Gravity was invented by Isaac Newton. The 19th century was a time of a great many thoughts and inventions. People stopped reproducing by hand and started reproducing by machine. Another story was William Tell, who, contrary to belief, did not shoot an apple which was on his son's head, but rather shot an arrow through an apple while standing on his son's head. This inspired me to check some Reddits for badly wrong exam answers, both accounted from the teachers who marked them and the very students who wrote them down. Polar environments have low levels of precipitation. Identify one other environment that has low levels of rainfall. The rainforest. I teach French, and as a bonus on a quiz, I asked the students what happens in France on July 14th.
What am I seeing right now? What? Adolf Nick. No. No mods. No mods. No mods.
When I was a child, I got upset after a button came off of my shirt. My mother told me not to worry, and that if I placed the button under a rock in the yard, the button fairy would replace it with a quarter. I believed it, and to my mother's dismay, she discovered I'd pulled the buttons off of every shirt in my closet. To this day, 40 years later, shirt buttons can still be found under random rocks in my parents' backyard. Christ, what happened when you learned about the tooth fairy? Parents are forever telling their kids lies days growing up, you
Berry.
might have been told about the piss-activated dye in swimming pools, or that the ice cream van was the music truck. He's just a nice man who drove around playing music for the neighbourhood. Yeah, one day I was at my neighbour's house when the music truck came by and found out the truth. I ran home and told my mum, "You're not going to believe this! The music truck sells ice cream!" Or that the crusts of bread were where all the nutrients are. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What? I've been telling my kids that because I thought it was true. Not lie, I was in my mid-30s before I realised the untruth of this after I'd been baking my own bread.
Oh,
for
we're off
years.
to a great
35
start.
years old, trying to
I wanna
feed my
get
3-year-old.
demonetized,
I
guys.
realised my
Who the
mum
fuck
said
said
that
the
to get
N-word?
me
Me,
to eat
nigga.
my whole sandwich, and I went to
The
school
fuck?
for food science, for goodness sake. While a good night's sleep is important,
Who the
sleeping
fuck
the
said that?
hours
Martin
between
Luther
10
King
PM and
Jr.
midnight
Fuck that
is
nigga,
the
bro.
most crucial. Age 7? Fucking hell. I better get my ass into bed if I'm going to be asleep by
What the
10. Age 17? Wait a minute. Why do parents lie? Well, my mother told
I
us
thought
that
this
if you
was a
waved
no
to
mod
airplanes
match.
as they passed, they would throw you bubble gum. We were the idiots waving like goons at all the small planes overhead for far too long. When we asked her later why she told us that, she said, "When you have kids, look at the trust and belief in their eyes and see if you'll be able to resist messing with them." Some of these lies, though, I doubt you will have even heard of. Drinking Dr. Pepper would make my nipples fall off. If I misbehaved, Michael Jordan would retire. That the UPS truck was the up past sleep time man, and he collected children who didn't go to bed on time. If you eat yogurt too soon before you fall asleep, you'll dream and fall into cowboy land and be stuck until your family can get you out. A face with rolling eyes emoji. Still don't eat yogurt too soon before sleep. Cowboy land. My dad told me that the reason why police officers spend so much time at donut shops is because the shop owners actually need them there to shoot the holes in the pastries to provide them with the classic
Happy
donut shape.
birthday
I found out
to
this was a
you.
lie when
Happy
my dad
birthday
caught me
to
trying to
you.
get behind
Happy
the counter
birthday,
at
dear.
Dunkin' Donuts one time because I wanted to
whoever
see
that
the
is.
shooting. My
Can I
dad
borrow
told me he
$5?
invented coughing/sneezing into your elbow. I was young enough to just accept it and move on without question, and I kept believing for way longer than I should have until one day at work someone coughed into their elbow and I was
Make
about
sure
to
to,
say,
like,
"Hey, you know, my dad invented that," and that was the first moment I realised how fucking silly that sounded. I asked him about it later. He's burst out laughing. I've never had a middle name. When I was a kid, I asked my parents why, and they told me, they couldn't afford to get me a middle name as you have to pay for each letter, and I believed them all the way up until my daughter was born.
No!
The nurse gave me a form with my daughter's
I keep
name, and I asked
believing
her,
on
"Right, how
accident."
much?" She said, "How much what?" I said, "How much, per letter, to name her." I've never seen a lady
Hello.
look at me so confused, and in that moment it clicked that my dad was joking. That planes leave a trail so that they can find their way back. That
Hello.
if the R on the Toys R Us sign is backwards, it means it's closed. Oh. That if I ran over the cord with the vacuum cleaner, it would suck it up and eventually suck in the whole world. During an exceptionally dark time, I said, "Fuck it," and ran over the vacuum cord. Nothing. Do over? Nothing. Try a different angle? Nothing. My disappointment was immediate and immeasurable. My grandmother told me that pinching gave cancer. I got pinched once at recess and just yelled at the person. Ow! No! That if I sleep with my socks on, I'll become blind. Mount Rushmore was a natural formation and the result of lightning striking a mountainside. Elton John's hair is stapled to his head. Please elaborate, please elaborate, please elaborate, please elaborate. If I went outside without telling them where I was going, elves would kidnap me and only let me eat broccoli. Man, broccoli elves are just the fucking worst. My mum said they only named hurricanes after girls, otherwise they would be hurricanes. My dad got sick of having to listen to the kids shows I watched as a child, so he told me that the Power Rangers and Barney the dinosaur died in the car crash with Princess Diana. So yeah, I couldn't watch them anymore. I didn't actually question it until I was quite old, embarrassingly. Jesus, we just tell our kids Cocomelon is broken on the TV. For some fucking insane reason, my parents told me Morris dancing was illegal. I just stored that as an absolute fact. You don't often come across Morris dancing in the UK, but anytime I did, I thought, oh shit, I hope the cops don't see them. I held this belief till I was about 20. When I was 5, my mum told me that the darker grains in wild rice were actually insects. Definitely believed it till I was about 12 and was served wild rice at a meal at a friend's house and exclaimed, oh wow, you guys eat insects too. Her whole family pretty much looked at me like I was on crack. Not a lie as such, but growing up in our house, we called over easy eggs juicy eggs. Tell me why I thought that was a universal term until I was 28 years old, ordering, I'll have the juicy eggs, please, in a restaurant. The waitress thought I was crazy. You know when little kids get hurt and they ask an adult to kiss it and make it better? Well, my parents told my sisters and I that that was called amputation. Every time one of us got hurt, we would run to the nearest adult and cry, amputate, amputate. Fast forward to when I was 16 years old and a 4-year-old I was babysitting hurt herself and was just wailing like no other. I asked her if she wanted her finger amputated, which just caused confusion. I later told her parents about her getting hurt and how I offered to amputate it. Same confusion. That orangutan was pronounced Orange Newton. I was told that jumper was a swear word and that I wasn't to say it. My parents heard me saying fork quickly, so it sounded like a swear word. My dad said, look, I know what you're doing, it's okay, but I never ever want to hear you say jumper. Car battery is dead. Do you have when I was a kid, the Like a Virgin video by Madonna was on TV, and I asked my dad what a virgin was, and he paused and goes, it's some kind of lion. Then returned to reading his newspaper, thought that was true for years. 10 years later, so, you're still a virgin? What? Are you a virgin, mate? No. Do I look like a virgin? Well, yeah, kinda. What? Do I have a mane and a tail? Do I have sharp teeth and spend my time roaming around the Serengeti? What? What a crazy virgin story. You know that Brenda Lee song? Rocking around the Christmas tree. There's the part where she says, maybe we'll get some pumpkin pie. And I always thought she said, maybe we'll get some fucking pie. And my older brother indulged me and said, oh yeah, it's allowed on the radio because it's a Christmas classic. I think I was like 12 when I finally figured it out. My brothers told me vagina was spelled with a silent P in front, like pneumonia. I believed it until like 5th grade. Per vagina. My stepbrother told me that a power plant was a cloud factory to make clouds artificially. I believed him because I'd heard of the artificial snow machines that ski resorts have, and figured it wasn't unreasonable to believe there was a machine to make artificial clouds as well. I was 13 when I said, oh, the clouds factory's off. No wonder there's no clouds around, in front of my dad, and he laughed about it for like 30 minutes. I still get shit for it today. On my 5th birthday, my older sister gave me a pack of gum. It was my first time trying gum, and I swallowed it. I told my sister, and she told me that because I swallowed the gum, I would die in 7 years. My mom couldn't understand what my problem was on my 12th birthday. Finally, before bed, I told her how much I loved her and that I hoped she would miss me. She said, what are you talking about? I told her that I was going to die before she woke up, all from an older cousin, that if you make eye contact with a Mexican man in Walmart, he will kidnap you. An alligator lives in my great-grandma's basement. His penis was so long he had to have help from his brothers rolling it up like a hose every time he got done peeing. Dad used to tell us that the signs you see for falling rocks was to warn you about an Indian named a Falling Rock that would jump on the car. So when you see that sign, you have to be quiet so he won't hear you. I totally bought into it and believed it for too long. In our country, pedestrian crossing are usually labelled as ped-exing, and when I asked them what ped-exing means, they told me that these places are named after a Chinese conqueror, Ped-Zeng. So bad that he's feared and respected by people around the world. Asked my dad what the red triangle button in the car was for, and he responded with, don't push it or the car will blow up. Traumatized and terrified me for years until the realization hit me like a ton of bricks, thinking, why would they install a button like that? That if I kept hitting the horn in the car, it would run out of beeps. I didn't know any different until I was 17 and learning to drive. The rumble strips on the side of the road are there to help people who are blind drive. When I was a kid, my dad told me it cost 25 cents to change the radio station to keep me from fucking with the radio in his car. I believed that till I was 14. Don't give strange ideas to some radio or TV broadcaster.
A radio. We want to give customers a sense of pride and accomplishment when changing stations.
When I was a young child, I asked my mum how people transport their cars when they move to an overseas country. She told me that they just attach it and fly it along behind the plane. I fully believed this until I was way too old to actually believe this. This is amazing. I imagine a plane looking like one of those just married cars with all the cars in tow. Gravity makes all the nutrients go to the bottom of the banana, so you have to eat the whole thing. The last bite is the healthiest. Embarrassing revelation to have at 24, that your blood is blue until it contacts air. Are you telling me that's not true? That is correct. Yeah, your blood is not blue. I did not expect to wake up this morning and learn I've believed a lie for 21 years. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. My grandmother used to tell us that if we bite our nails, frogs will grow in our stomach. A little while ago, my cousin told me she had stopped biting her nails and asked if I still did. I said yes, and then dead serious, she said, "You know that causes frogs in your stomach, right?" She is 20 and in nursing school. When I was really young, I remember my mum getting a small ceramic pig from somewhere. Me, being young and selfish, asked her, "Where's mine?" She, probably having a bit of a stressful day, answered, "I ate it." That made me believe that the ceramic pig was edible, and for the next few months I would occasionally take it off the shelf where she'd placed it and try to take a bit out of it. The fact that it was too hard to bite through didn't deter me. I just figured that I hadn't yet learned to trick as to how to make it edible. I'm dying at the thought of you staying up at night figuring out the trick to eating a ceramic pig, trying it the next day when your mum isn't looking, failing, and then plotting for the next attempt. A college nearby has a cougar as its mascot, and they sell cougar cheese. My uncles told me long ago that it's made from the milk of cougars. I got older, about early 20s, and I saw a can of that and wondered how they milked the cougars. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. You can't just have a cougar milk farm with angry cougars hooked up to milking machines. I told my dad I wanted a horse. He said that if I found a horse egg, I could keep it as my pet. We never found one. Frowning face emoji. r/horse eggs. And what the fuck is this? If wiped my nose upwards with a sleeve or tissue, I was going to turn my nostrils inside out, and I would drown when it rains. Apparently my dad's brother had this happen to him and had to have little weights implanted in his nostrils so that they would sit normally. I fully believed this. My parents told me I clicked my tongue in my sleep, so that when I pretended to be asleep, I would click my tongue and they'd know I was awake. That girls didn't poop. Believed it from 5th grade till 9th grade, when my sister forgot to flush. I went in immediately after her, and there was 4 years of lies just floating there, mocking me. I was told that girls grew hair under their boobs like armpits. It didn't sound right, but I didn't know enough about it to dispute it. "You've not been to Glasgow, then?" asked my dad. "How you know you're gay?" He said you get a letter in the mail. Masturbation makes you deaf. So every time I did masturbate, I had this tense, scary moment where I made some noise to check if I went deaf. Yeah, what? I'm screaming! I could just see you, like, humming or something. I'm dead. Yes! Yeah, I usually did a light tap against a wall. That if you look through a door's keyhole, a gnome will stick its long, spindly finger through the other side and scratch out your eyeball. This is such a weird one. Parents gotta have sex somehow. 100% believed that if I left a pile of rocks under this tree outside our house, a fairy would come visit me. My parents told me that, so I'd go play outside. Stop saying it so my parents could smash. As a kid, I thought that girls get pregnant from kissing. I thought you had to spit in their mouth. I asked my mom where babies comes from, and she diplomatically said, from a special passage inside the woman. For years, I pictured a butt cheek swinging open like a hatch and a baby dropping out. For a while, my wife, as a kid, used to believe that dancing would get you pregnant. She went to some ultra-conservative church school, and they told the students that dancing in bed is called the jizz jazz. I asked my mum where babies come from. She told me a policeman goes inside the woman's belly button and just pulls it out. That seems like a weird job for a policeman to do? What on God's green earth? If you touch your belly button, you'll die. If you don't eat your vegetables, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will die. To encourage me to get off the escalator fast enough when I was younger, my dad told me that if I was too slow, it would suck me into it and I'd die. He also told me that Benjamin Franklin died this way. I used to believe that milk came from God's bones being put in an oven and melted. That you can trap a sound in a jar. My mom told us that you can't make noise while baking a cake, or else it'll go flat. She baked a lot of cakes. Son of a bitch. For real, my mum always said the same thing. Don't stomp or jump or be loud, or they would fall. Fuck, I'm 39, and I've told my kids the same shit. I've always been careful to be quiet when they're baking. My mum told me if you turn the interior lights on in a car at night while you're driving, you can get a ticket. 2 months ago, my husband turned the lights on, and I started yelling at him because I didn't want a ticket. I am 29. I'm 25 years old, and to this very moment I thought it was a real thing. God damn it. I still believe this, that the dog went to an actual farm. Yeah, it took about 30 years before the realisation hit. Oh, you're unlucky. My childhood cat fared better though. When I was 7, my mum told me it ran off and joined a gang of foxes, became friends with them and lived happy... Oh. My sister told me that if you count all the stones of Stonehenge, you will die. I still don't know how many stones there are in Stonehenge. Ah, well, I'll count them for you. There are... Whoops, you didn't finish your sentence. Let me count them for OP. There are... What are you doing? There's 1, 2, 3, 4... Reddit, useless as ever. I, Matt Rose, will do it. Right, there's 1, 2, 3...
Oh, hey! My voice has completely given up the ghost after a very full-on couple of weeks. Don't worry, I'm going to rest up. I will be back as soon as I can. Skull emoji! Hang on.
Skull emoji! In my history lesson, there was this guy called Owen. One day, after lunch, he was late, and our teacher said, when he arrives, give him the silent treatment. 5 minutes go past, and he walks in holding a cheese sandwich. He just says, oh, hi, sir, and goes to sit down. The teacher stops him and says, what do you say? Expecting him to apologise for being late, but in reply, he just holds his cheese sandwich high in the air and says, cheese! Since then, he has only gone by the name of Cheese. Funny how nicknames start, isn't it? I've been calling one of my closest friends a squid mug for years now after I walked over to his desk at work and in his empty coffee cup was, I'm still not sure what they were, but what looked like rings of squid. Some nicknames are name-based. My friend's named William Finch, so we call him Wi-Fi. Some are appearance-based. One of my classmates from high school had the nickname Disco Titty because he had massive pecs and they'd bounce up and down in a rhythm when he was going up or down the stairs. Others are incident-based. Good mate of mine's been renamed as Chicken Foot Frank after ordering half a kilo of raw chicken feet on accident when we were in Sydney. Skull emoji. Some are to make things simpler. In grade 10, we had 2 boys named Sean in our class with the same last initial, so we referred to them as Sean 1 and Sean 2. Sean 2 transferred schools the next year, but we always referred to the first Sean as number 1, even when he was the only Sean left. Imagine Sean 1 transferred and you were left with Sean 2, and everyone wonders what the fuck you did to Sean 1. And others, such as Tiny Heiny, are beyond convoluted. Benjamin, Benjamin, Jamaican, Jamaican bacon, bacon, beer can, Heineken, Heiny, Tiny Heiny. We called someone Goliath because he was always bickering with a kid named David. Goat because I fainted one time after being startled. Skull emoji.
Yeah.
In middle school German class exercise, we chose our German name and came up with an adjective starting with the same letter. Everyone else chose something like awesome Axel or handsome Hans. When it was his turn, he sheepishly said,
game.
I'm Juicy Jürgen, and he was juicy forevermore. One of my friends was given the nickname Spoony. Reason is they said they
basically
Spooky Spoon from Numberjacks,
I
face holding back
think
tears.
it's in the
emoji.
fine
When I was
server
listening to the
thing
song, Watch
over
Me
there.
Whip, Nay Nay was popular. My friend was singing it and accidentally said, Watch me whip, whip, call me Nay Nay. He's Nay Nay to this day. To this day.
I'll just put it on
I
for
once
you.
said, you're wonderful, and my confused ex-husband replied, I'm A Nerf ball? So then he was Nerf ball in my phone contacts. I've called my partner Box for years because I once made him a Morse code bracelet, the beads spelling it out, that was meant
No
to say
mods.
dot dot slash dot dash dot
I
dot
thought
dash
this-
dash dash
I
dot
thought
dot
this
dash
said
dot
no
slash
mods.
dot dash 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 dot dot dash slash dot dash dash dot dot dash dot dot dash 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 dot dash dash slash dash dot 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 dash 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 dot dash dash, meaning I love you, pretty boy, but instead said dot dot slash dot dash dot dot dash 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 dot 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 dash dot slash dash dot dash 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 dot dot dash slash dot dash dash dot dot dash dot dot dash 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 dash. Oh, fuck off. The exact same but with a dot dash rather than a dash dash at the end, meaning I love you, pretty box. My friend is nicknamed Left-Handed Triangle Man by our friend group. He's always sucked at maths but will never admit it. One day, for the millionth time, he tried to prove again that he was in fact good at maths. We ask him to name triangles and he proudly goes right angle triangle, icosols, left-handed triangle. When I was in high school, me and my friend Henry were part of a theatre production. One time the adults were cataloguing the outfits and their colours, and one woman picked up some cream-coloured leggings and said,
Oh, it's
Henry
Osaku
Cream. For some
again.
reason that stuck, and Henry Cream is still running. I was going to Henry Cream's house, etc. I am going to Henry Cream. One of my friends got nicknamed Matchstick because on our first hangout he had his hair dyed red and wore beige shirt and pants.
Hello everyone, alright? How are you doing? What are you? Oh my god.
I once heard about a person at work who was nicknamed Foreskin because, according to their boss, when things get hard, you disappear. I just confused foreskin and scrotum and had horrid images in my mind of someone's scrotum just disappearing like everyone in Infinity War. My dad's friend Kombucha Michael brought kombucha to a party once. I have a hefty classmate whose last name is Gershon. Everyone calls him the Girth. A classmate with a surprisingly spherical head is Orb, and one girl insisted that Jingle Bells played in reverse sounded like Boangeshni, so that's her nickname. My little brother's nickname for a while was Whiz. He is a sleepwalker, and one night he mistook our bookshelf for the toilet and pissed on it. Right on the Bibles. Loudly crying face emoji, loudly crying face emoji. My youngest brother had the nickname of Jesus Christ because whenever he would do stuff that was dangerous, my dad would say, Jesus Christ, don't do that, skull emoji. I remember an employee who became known as the Painter. Oh, okay, that actually sounds like it might be for a nice reason, because he would go into the neighbouring business's bathroom and completely destroy the toilet with feces. I once heard of a senior in my school who got straight up run over by a car. His nickname from then on was Speed Bump. I call one of my friends Van Gogh. Bookie hates drawing ears and often omits them entirely in his pieces. I had a friend we all called 9/11 because one time she tripped and knocked over 2 children while playing laser tag. Moisty Jarvis, Hairy Meatball, Parking Lot, Mr. A.S., Thin Mints, Natural Gas, 67 Power Stroke, Donkey Kong's lower jaw, Nut. Mr. Lialot, the Hedgehog. All right, stop. You got to explain some of these. How'd he get that one? I had a classmate called Leighton who used to lie all the time, so me and my friends called him Mr. Lialot.
This is extremely dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Making him Mr. Lialot, the Hedgehog, face with tears of joy emoji. Capri Sun, because one time we were having a party and there was Capri Suns and I had like 20 of them. Yeah, for some reason when I read this the first time around, I just assumed you meant you drank 20 all at the same time and was like, how on earth would you even manage that? I suppose you could open 20, line them up and drop a big weight on them so they will squirt in your mouth. That would work, right? No. My friend has been called Jelly Bean for quite a while because she said she could grow jelly beans in her garden, and when I asked her to show me them, she brought me a handful of acorns. My friend Jay got the nickname in high school because one morning Jay snuck up behind us, inhaled sharply through his nose, and whispered into our ears,
This is gonna be extremely dumb.
so good. You remind me of the lotion. He is still lotion to this day, and I graduated 16 years ago. One of my friends is called, well, you'll see what she's called in a second, because we were in anatomy class and she had headphones on watching the assignment video where they were explaining tendons and muscles, and apparently she'd never heard the word before, so she said very loudly in a silent classroom, ligaments. We refused to let her live it down. I call my sister Dip Dog Corn Shit because one time she tried to call me a dipshit and a corn dog at the same time and misspoke, calling me Dip Dog. Are we going to use in this hose? Noddle. His nickname is now Noddle. I call my friend Starving Urethra because once she said she was so hungry she poked her urethra with her fork. She meant uvula. Got a friend named Steven, but we call him Steen after our friend Justin accidentally misspelled it. Steen.
There's no way! There's no way!
Because of
There's no way! There's no way! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Because they apologised for being glooky.
Thanks for the points!
My sister is Little Rotisserie in my phone. She was lying down and I told her she looked a little rosy. Her cheeks were really red. She misheard, looked up at me very confused and offended and said, I'm a little rotisserie. Changed it right there.
Yay, I found.
Skull emoji. There was this girl that got called Dead Owl Cuddler, Doc for short, because one time on their way back from a school band trip, she fell asleep with the bus window open, and when she woke up, she found that an owl had got hit by the bus, went through the window, and landed in her lap, where she cuddled with it until she woke up. Oh God! Let's briefly check the other socials that were pitched the same question to see if any of those replies are any nicer. Friend's nickname is Boaty, because when he was a toddler, he got hit by a pedal boat. I called a mate of mine Mr. How Do I Walk, due to a game of Mario Party. Just Tits. It sounds shockingly similar to his name. We called him Garbage Disposal at first because he will genuinely eat anything and everything, but over time it shortened to Garbage. Broken heart emoji, so when we're upset, we bring out his full God-given name of in the tone of a scolding parent. Garbage Disposal. Knew a kid named Hector PH Pubert Detector because he kept saying that he could detect what someone ate for breakfast and how many broken bones they had. He was just making shit up. His name wasn't even Hector.
I bet they're making a TikTok about me right now.
So call me Hank. 3 weeks later, I was just Hank. Imagine someone asking you, what's that guy's name over there? And rather than saying, I don't know who that is, sorry, you just confidently state, his name is Hank. Started calling my friend Twinkle Toes because whenever he threw a basketball, he looked like this. I had a friend in college who was called Spatch because one time someone walked in on her having sex on a kitchen counter and she threw a spatula at them. My mom is saved in my phone as Wawa Patch because one time she belched and I don't understand. What she burped and it sounded like Wawa Patch. I call my friend the animal control lady from Madagascar 3 because one time while we were camping in the total darkness he showed me a picture of the animal control lady from Madagascar 3 on his phone and it was so bright the image got burned into my retinas. For a solid 5 minutes, every time I blinked I saw the outline of her figure in my eyes. It was a fucking nightmare. To this day, every time I see a loose dog or something, I turn to him this looks like a job for animal control. You're up, buddy. My brother's WhatsApp contact name is IKEA AA Battery Muncher, in remembrance of the time he, tried to munch on an IKEA AA battery. Why would anyone do that? Well, did they taste nice? These are IKEA batteries, ladder. Not great. My mum's friend's daughter is called Naomi and has mayonnaise with literally everything, so we call her Mayomi. Kilometres. Their name's Miles. The bathroom. My last name's initials are WC. My best friend is occasionally called Jerry because he put a picture of Jerry Adams in a... Hold on. Who's Jerry Adams? The retired Irish Republican politician. In a microwave in public. We didn't turn it on, just left it there. For a while, my sister would call me Toe-Fry Stir-Few because of me butchering Japanese ogre emoji, the pronunciation of tofu stir-fry. My friend's name is Porn with Plot, Humphrey Gulp, Regrettable Purchase, Dr. Sausage, Slingshot's Ballsack, Tampax Zhivago, Bromoto Floker Kenuan Coyote Cythesis, quite literally, the number 7, the Fridge Fucker. Again, kind of morbidly curious about the context of this one. Please elaborate? I will not elaborate. I was called the Skittle Leader because I found a long Skittle in my bag of Skittles. You're not entirely sure what you mean by long Skittle. I found this on r/mildly interesting, if that's the sort of thing you mean. I wonder what that would taste like.
Nice. Whoa! Now we're going to start a fire. Well, I'll be dressed appropriately.
You just look like you're in a coat. Oh, it smells nice.
It does smell quite nice, doesn't it? Because this has got to all meld into one.
I really hope that's not going to catch on fire.
Relax. Really ooze that goop over. Ooze that goop. And when that sets, that'll be a long skill. It's actually quite good. Thanks, Twitter. Back to YouTube comments now.
I used to work in aquatics, helping teach little kids how to swim. One day, as they were getting in the water, one of them just pointed at me, unprompted, and yelled, "Fishy face of death!" People went on to call me that for the rest of the summer, skull emoji. My sister was Spider Hunter, because when she was a baby, she tried to eat a huge wolf spider. My mum saw its legs dangling from her mouth and thought it was yarn at first. Bean Bench Boy, he ate a jacket potato with beans and spilled exactly one on a bench while we were out. He didn't clean it up, so I never let him forget that, Bean. You know who you are, fucking Bean Boy. Me and my other friends called this one guy Princess Peach because he told his friend in class very loudly that last night he had a dream where he was taking care of Mario's kids and they had a very dramatic divorce. My buddy's contact in my phone is Scary Ghost. How are they floating? He put that as a genuine answer to "What do you see?" /wonder on an art assignment. One of my closest current friends has the nickname Piss Lord because of the amount of soda they drink. Recently they were demoted to Piss Boy for reasons unknown. My friend gets called Poop Drinker because when talking about our history textbook, he said, "Isn't it crazy that it just goes from, like, people drinking poop to now?" In 5th grade, my nickname was Ham because I had played Hamlet in an extremely abridged version of the play. That is fucking abridged. Ham. I have a friend, Soccer Ball, on Discord, because every time we're in a call, he gets kicked from it. Weeping Angel, because the only time I join my friends' conversations is when they weren't looking. I was, and still am, Femi D. I dressed up as Ruby Gloom for Halloween a few years back, and my friends said I looked like a femboy Ronald McDonald, and came up with that. Junk Man! A friend of mine made a superhero costume that didn't account for his privates, so in all pictures he took, you could see an alarming number of details. My bones and joints make slight clunking noises whenever I move for some reason, so my friend calls me Wind Chime. My friend's name is Bernice, but I call her Bernephew. Jack, by the way, because he said, "Oh, my name's Jack, by the way." My dad has always called me Pumpkin Face. I thought it was just some kind of cute random nickname until I learned it's because I had severe jaundice as a baby. Skull emoji, skull emoji. And skull emoji. I was playing a video game with my friend on call, and in the middle of it, his dad walks in, sounding disgusted, and shouts,
"There's no way I'm not found yet.
Disgusting!
There's no way.
His name has now stuck for a long
There's
time.
no way I
Excuse the
actually...
pun. I have a friend group with 2 Lukes in it, so one of them became Luke. Patrick, then became not Luke.
There's no
Luke's
way.
brother, also
Hey,
Patrick,
that they
is
take
now
120
not
seconds
the
to...
Shuttle Destroyer. It was a guy in my uni who got pissed drunk at a party and forgot to
Anyways.
do his homework. He turned up to class and said his cat, deadly allergic to cats by the way, called Shuttle Destroyer, ate his homework. It was a digital assignment. What the
fuck?
The Black Plorge, because he was always sick, and Hungry Hippo Man, because he the worst food combinations for lunch. I'm talking chocolate on tomatoes and honey on bread. Odd fellas.
Hey, what? Why did your font just do that?
Once in 5th grade, I helped my social studies teacher play a video. Still proud of that.
What's that got to do with anything?
When I was young, I went on a Ferris wheel, and then I immediately started crying, so then my mum had to yell really loud. It's just to make them to stop it.
What are you all on about? Is there a carbon monoxide leak or something?
One of my oldest friends is Smell ID, because back in high school he got high and went on about how tech companies are missing out big time by not developing a phone you can unlock by smelling it. Wait, does the phone smell you or do you smell the phone? His logic was that the user would smell the phone and the phone would recognise them. I'm utterly confounded by the levels of nonsense your friend operates on. Congratulations. You know, I've been smoking weed for 26 years, and I have never been that stoned.
I feel like this is an episode of Taskmaster. Yeah.
That's quite good.
Yeah. Getting out of breath yet?
Do they have the same idea as me? Oh wait, no.
I wasn't filming.
Ian. You stinker lol.
What is the most cringeworthy way you tried to
That's
be
just
cool?
insulting.
I went to a week-long zoo camp when I was 9 and decided that I wanted to have an Italian accent around all my new friends, as this would be very hip. There were only 2 problems with this plan. Number 1, my only model for an Italian accent was Rolf from Ed, Edd and Eddy. If you've not heard Rolf from Ed, Edd and Eddy, I'd brace yourself.
Rolf can see shoddy spot welding from a distance of 20 goats.
Number 2, I did not decide that I was Italian until the 3rd day of the camp. Some kids actually bought it until fucking Amanda piped up and said, that is clearly not your actual voice, and you can't just randomly become Italian. I tried to claim, it comes and goes. Well, Stanzo Branford Orers is not the only person to do something they thought was cool that would later go on to make them cringe. Don't worry, Stanzo, these things, it's not like they haunt you for your whole life. When I was about 12, I thought buck teeth were the coolest thing in the world, so even though I didn't have them, I pretended I did all of the time and jutted out my front teeth over my bottom lip. At 58 years old, I still feel embarrassed by this when I think about it. Oh, sorry, my mistake, mate. Turns out they do haunt you forever. I shaved my leg hair into a checkerboard pattern. I thought I was going to be the trendsetter.
Spoke with an unnaturally deep voice. It actually wasn't until college.
The teacher called me out on it. In 2nd grade, I would wink at random students and teachers in the hallways. Who is that 7-year-old putting the moves on everybody? How you do it? I cut out paper Nike logos and glued them to my shoes. I bought a second-hand red leather jacket and used to wear it with an Hawaiian shirt, thinking I looked like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. I got scabies from it. I'm a super white ginger dude who is not cool at all. I used to wear a gold chain in high school and actively studied on how to be hip. I hate it, I hate thinking about it, and I hate you for making me think about it again. I'm imagining you making like flashcards to study with. You would not be incorrect. In middle school, I got the idea that I would be really cool if I acted mysterious. So I spent recess just looking out of the window intensely. Then this girl finally asked me what I was looking at. A bird.
Did I just teleport?
She asked me where it was.
Did I just teleport?
Answered,
oh my god, did someone just try to... Did a hacker just try to reveal my location?
Find me really deep and cool. She probably just thought I was fucking insane. I knew a girl in primary who tried to be mysterious. She did exactly what you did. When someone also asked her what she was doing, she said, "Do not disturb the water goddess during her contemplation time." The other child sort of looked at her like, what the fuck? Later, we caught the water goddess shitting behind a tree. Oh, Jesus Christ, my fucking soul.
Yeah.
I thought I'd suppressed it. Hey, this is a safe
Mic
space.
off.
We're all here to support you. It's okay.
Mic on.
In your own time, we can come back. Do you want us to come back? We'll come back. When I was a lad, I thought it looked really cool to have the tumor-esque bump on your cheek from holding a sucker between your teeth and cheek. So when I didn't have a sucker, I'd push my cheek out with my tongue, so it looked like there was an invisible dick always chilling in my mouth. I'd always lean against a wall with my arms crossed and one foot against, push my cheek out with my tongue, so it looked like there was an invisible dick from holding a sucker between your teeth and cheek. So when I didn't have a sucker against a wall with my arms crossed and one foot against it, like this. Were you a principal at a middle school dance? When I was in middle school, I walked around with my arm hanging out the front of my jacket like a Auron from Final Fantasy X. Looking back, I just looked ridiculous. Shaved my eyebrows in 3rd grade to be like Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now my brother did the same thing to look like Vanilla Ice. I printed out a picture of Leon from Resident Evil 4. Were you I'd always lean against on your cheek from come back. Do you want us to come back? We'll come back. When I was a lad, I thought it looked really cool to have the tumor-esque bump on your cheek from holding a sucker between your teeth and cheek. So when I didn't have a sucker, I'd push my cheek out with my tongue, so it looked like there was an invisible dick always chilling in my mouth. I'd always lean against a wall with my arms crossed and one foot against it, like this. Were you a principal at a middle school dance? When I was in middle school, I walked around with my arm hanging out the front of my jacket like a Auron from Final Fantasy X. Looking back, I just looked ridiculous. Shaved my eyebrows in 3rd grade to be like Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now my brother did the same thing to look like Vanilla Ice. I printed out a picture of Leon from Resident Evil 4 and brought it to the hairdresser to be used as a reference. I cut my hair to look like my guy online. Last night, I accidentally got so high, I forgot what Pringles are called. I'm trying to eat chips, but chewing feels insane. I'm just cracking the chips with my tongue, then crushing the chip. Oh my god, what kind of chips? Oh, the arches. Wheel. What the seat? Oh my god. I'm calling the hospital. I know them, what is it? The seat. What? Horse seat. Why am I losing your mind? The horse seat on a horse. Saddle chips. Yeah, I'm losing it. The ones that all just sit together in the tube. Pringles. Oh my god, Liv. Yes, this week it's all about people getting high, stoned, lit, baked, blazed, off their nut, whatever you want to call it. Before we begin though, for YouTube guidelines purposes, I'm at Rose obviously do not condone getting high, no matter how cool it is. I'm so high I said, oh bless you, to the person that sneezed in a YouTube video that I was watching. Once I was so high that when a bird flew over the car, I ducked down. Once I was looking at the moon, and I was just noticing the details in it, and I took a step forward to get a closer look. I made a shopping list. After about a half hour of trying to think of what I needed, all I'd written down was, already have eggs. Once I was so high, I wanted to put perfume on for my Instagram pic so my followers could smell me. I'm so high, I searched Google Images for wipes, and waited for the images to load. Loudly crying face emojis. I'm so high, I thought this cat had a hole in it. Needed to go to my neighbour's house, but smoked beforehand. Got up off the couch and knocked on the inside of my living room door because I thought I was outside their house. In college, one time I was so high, I showed up to class, and when I sat down, I tried to buckle myself in. I was sitting on the bed of a truck, swinging my legs, and said, guys, whoa, I can move my legs without touching them. One time I was so high that I convinced myself I needed to wait 30 minutes before showering, but I just ate, and that's what you're supposed to do before swimming. Neutral face emoji. Once I was so high, I was looking at my battery percentage for the time upside down face. Cody, yeah, you got the time, mate? Oh yeah, it's a 97% o'clock. I set a hot pocket in the microwave and put in my PIN number for the cook time. No, how long did it cook for? I have interest. So high, I tried to type my lasagna's expiration date into the oven. And this isn't lasagna, it's enchiladas. What the fuck? I put my TV remote in the freezer several times when getting my Ben & Jerry's. Bro, I'm so high, I said, I want pizza that has crust in the cheese. Bro, you're fried, LaMail. Skull emoji. Back in college, I got super baked with friends. We went to this donut place. I was staring at the counter full of donuts. I felt like I was standing there for like a minute, quietly humming and thinking. Yeah, apparently it was closer to 4 minutes, and I was loudly humming the theme song from Jurassic Park over and over again. For some reason, we were listening to it on the drive over, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Da 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 went to McDonald's and I asked for, hi, can I get 3 McDonald's? I went through the McDonald's drive-thru and ordered a large chocolate Coke. I ordered a chocolate chicken. I ordered a medium muck water. Went to White Castle to get food for everyone after we smoked. We all had the same order, 2 double cheese sliders and an order of mozzarella sticks. When I gave her my order, I didn't just say that I wanted 8 double cheese sliders in total. I repeated the, 2 double cheese sliders and mozzarella sticks. And it took 4 times. By the time I got to the end of my order, the cashier sounded so defeated. I'll have a number 9, 2 number 9s, a number 9. Double cheeseburger with bacon from Wendy's. Good thing the cashier spoke stoned speak. I ordered, let me grab a bacon with bacon. I'm so high, I thought this. The Pizza Hut chart of calories per pizza, Hawaiian 1766, etc., was talking about the most popular pizza each year. Vegan margarita went hard in 1436. 100 flame emoji. Thinking of that one time I got so high I went out to buy Chinese takeout and they had to chase me after and said, ma'am, you did not pay for your food. You just took a photo of the cash register. Someone's bike came apart near me when I was walking after smoking. Prior to this, I'd worked for a year assembling shitty bikes for Walmart, so I thought I'd come to this person's aid. I went up to her, I told her, hey, I repair bikes, I've got this. And after 15 minutes of taking more of the bike apart, I realised that I did not, in fact, got to this. I stood up and said, I'm sorry, there's nothing more I can do, and left. One time I was so high at the mall that I crashed out over the "you are here" dot on the map. I had to go wait in the car because I thought people were
Actually, no, it's
One
a
time
bad
I was so
idea,
high, I
Ty,
thought
that's
I was
fine.
texting 911 to send me an ambulance, but I was just repeatedly typing my address into notes. The entire time I was high felt like deja vu. I was convinced I could predict the future because of it, but it was only dumb stuff like, I'm about to open the fridge and grab a snack pack, and then I'll just do it, LeMayo. Got so high I tried to put eye drops in with my glasses on. I'm so high I tried to find a bell on the train to stop at the next station. I'm so high I tried to raise the volume of a GIF. So high I tried to copy something from my brain and paste it onto my phone. So high I tried to eat the pie. I'm so high I tried to light a lighter with a lighter. One time I got so high and ate hot Cheetos and started to blow on them so they would be less hot. Yeah, it's only valid. I remember once I was so high and I saw this picture and started crying. I walked out of my friend's apartment and saw a red car, a yellow car and a blue car parked in a row. I then got my camera to record it because it was that interesting. Then I put it on YouTube.
Dude, check this out. There's like a blue car and a yellow car and a red car.
Remembering one time I was so high I thought I hit my vape, but I actually took a sip of water. And when I went to exhale, I just spit water all over the floor.
Smooth.
Sitting here thinking about that one time I got so high I tried FaceTiming myself to see what I looked like high. Skull emoji. One time I was so high playing GTA I started squinting when the sun was setting. Skull emoji. Oh god, what? Oh god, I'm so high I thought the car was floating. Skull emoji. I was smoking by myself last night and got so high I thought the car was floating. Skull emoji. I was smoking by myself last night and got so high I tried passing the blunt to my dog. Skull emoji. Currently thinking about the one time I was so high I took my dog out for a walk and didn't attach the leash onto him. I was just holding the leash while walking with that motherfucker. Skull emoji. One time I was so high my dog sneezed and I tried rewinding the show I was watching, but her sneezing was so funny I wanted to watch it again. I went to an all-you-can-eat buffet and stacked up an entire plate of corn chips. In the corner of my eye I spotted an employee following me around. I got really paranoid and started walking faster to try to lose him, but didn't want to turn around and look at him because then he would know I knew he was following me around. I must have done 3 or 4 laps of the entire buffet with this dude right behind me. I eventually worked up the courage to turn around, only to realise I was slowly dropping corn chips all over the floor everywhere that I walked. The guy was following me with a dustpan and broom and cleaning up my mess.
I'm gonna be so shocked when he don't like get caught right away.
The bouncer at the entrance of the club put his
I'll
arms
be
out
so
to indicate
shocked
was the time
if I
to
don't
do
get
so
caught
for him
right
to pat
away.
me down. Instead, I thought he wanted
Yep,
to
I
hug
knew
me,
it.
so I hugged him.
Yep, I knew
when
it.
I was in high school, I
Straight
got too
on.
high and knew it was obvious to my mom when she got home. I texted my friend saying, I think my mom knows I'm high. My mom then walked in and just looked at me and said, yes. I do. Check my messages, it turns out I'd accidentally sent a text to her. Held my aunt's boob while trying to have what I thought was a normal conversation, thinking it was her elbow, while thinking how cool it was that none of my relatives could tell.
What is
I was
that?
high. In the middle of a board game, I
There's
ended up
body
getting
got
a bed a few
revealed
feet
out
from
of
the game
nowhere.
table, but had to remove the gallon of milk from the fridge to get the bed. I picked
There's
up
no
the jug
way
and
you
matched
missed
eyes
that.
with a non-high friend of mine.
There's
For some
no
reason,
way you
thought I'd
missed
make
that.
him laugh by pretending to pour the milk on my head. The cap was not on the jug properly. My friend Watch, as stoned me, took a gallon of milk and just poured it on my head. Everyone was just as confused as I was, as there was no rhyme or reason for any of it. I love picturing you just mad dogging this guy as you pour a gallon of milk on your head. I was trying to get food
Milk.
delivered to me, but I just googled the word deliver for 40 minutes. One time I was so high that when I went to check my email, I just typed in email.com. Tweeted the type of porn I was looking for instead of googling it. One time I was so high, instead of my home address, I put me into maps. I was fucked up looking for my hotel in Atlantic City. Somehow got there and woke up the next morning to just hotel being in the search bar of my Spotify. Where'd you wake up? Presumably it's some sort of a neutral milk hotel? Got too high and tried to do research. How? I'm so high I googled this trying to figure out why I could feel my belly button.
How?
Feel it, just like existing there. Got so high I googled this. Courage the cowardly dog tattoos. I'm going to do unspeakable and overwhelming things to his cervix. How many floors did the Twin Towers have? Y'all, I'm so high, I thought I typed this into Google. Loudly crying face emoji. Launch after I say Tug 0 and 9 is 74 to a 48. Rock Guitar 97, Rock 9 Hug 7, Urethra Greta the 5, Yudge were 56, Chudge. One time I was so high, I Googled if fish yawned. Face with cold sweat. Obviously they, Hold on, that's a great question. I don't know. Likewise with I'm so high I googled do ants have heart attacks? And I was so high I googled do caterpillars know they finna turn into butterflies, or is it a surprise? Once I was so high I kept googling Google Chrome and getting pissed. Google kept spelling Google Chrome wrong in the results. I was so high I searched how to spell letters. I googled how to spell A, and it was like A. I'm so high I couldn't remember how to type the at sign. I kept just going AO, faster and faster, so that happened at the same time. So high, I spelled maternal as meter nail. One time I was so high, I spelled once as once. I'm so high, I spelled beef as beef. Yesterday, I was so high, I spelled November. No, me ever. Like, what? I'm so high, I spelled Mike Wazowski as Mike Wazowski. Mike, like, yeah, I'm heading out. Please. I'm so high, I tried to write Beyond, and I kept typing a Beyonce 3 times before I got it right. I'm so high, I spelled Jay-Z. Jay-Z. I was so high, I spelled San Francisco. Francisco. Last night, I was so high, I tried to spell lawyer like lawyer. That's just the Long Island way of saying it. Call your cousin. He's a lawyer. Don't fuck with me, my cousin on my mom's side. He's a high-end lawyer. One time I was so high, I thought genius was spelled J-E-O-N-D-I-O-U-S. Giondius. Elsewhere, what? Hosts of cats. Holy shit, I am so high. I thought that was the mouth of an octopus with teeth shooting out. When did it become a cat? So high, I tried to cough, but got confused and accidentally just screamed instead. Me to my friend one time when I was high. Dude, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Okay, what am I thinking? If someone rubs their face really hard, it looks like they're rubbing their skin off their face to make it into a mask. That was not what he was thinking. This one time I was in front of my TV watching comedians in cars getting car. I had my bong on the coffee table between me and the TV. I'm seeing Jerry Seinfeld driving someone in New York, and suddenly I can see a cop car joining their lane behind them. I quietly and slowly took the bong down on the floor so the cops can't see it. Yeah, you know that famous movie Silence of the Lambs? Once I was so high, we were about 30 minutes into watching it, and I asked very confidently if it was animated. One One time I was so high and bored, I looked up the first song to ever be recorded, and it was from the 1800s or something. And as soon as I heard it, I literally felt like I got cursed. Imagine tripping balls and suddenly hearing this.
I'll eat everything.
One time I got so high, I was convinced I was aging backwards because it felt like I was seeing the same videos over and over while doom scrolling on TikTok and got scared I was going to die because I would be unborn again. One time I got so high, I thought my cat was a part of the FBI and that she was spying on me and trying to kill me. Maybe you just saw things as they really are. Elsewhere, a high-ed grew a bunch of things as cats. Love how you went cat whale instead of catfish. We also have cat mat, suit cat, cork cat, soap cat, cat alarm, aka alarm cat, meow, 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 and hammock cat. My life is pain! I was so high, I told my buff the stars looked like the Grinch and proceeded to draw it for him.
You're a mean one, Mr.
What is that? My friend was about to step on a snail and I freaked out and shoved him away from it and yelled, "Don't watch the steppy!" Yeah, I don't know. It was a mix of a lot of sentences. I was just scared for the snail. I like how, in the mix of words, snail didn't make the cut. I yelled so assertively. His response was, "What the fuck?" Last night, I was so high, I said, Parmic Garlazan. About a month ago, I had a friend over to smoke. She noticed a piece of spaghetti on my coffee table and was like, what the fuck? So my stoned ass gets all excited and says, "Oh, I use it to spaghetti." I meant that I use it to light candles. How does one spaghetti with spaghetti? Of course. One time I was so high. Also, 420 is tomorrow, my guy. You can't be high yet at it. Instead of "the early bird gets the worm," I typed "the early gets the bird." I was hanging out with my one friend in junior year. After smoking, he was driving us around. As we passed a billboard, I started laughing. He said, "Did that say what I think it said?" And I said, "Yeah, put big legs on, put big lean on." He just gave me this super blank look, and it ended up actually saying something like, "Visit a new aquarium," and I have no fucking clue how I interpreted it as a weird gym ad. Turns out he just wanted to go to the aquarium. Once I got so high, I couldn't remember what the word evaporate means, and panicked. Well, also, Merry Christmas. Oh, shut up. Once I tried explaining to my dad that I'd gotten a crumb in my eye, but I blanked on the word and called it a mini toast flake. Thinking about the time I got so high, I forgot the word for race and said genre of human. I couldn't remember what power lines were called, so when I was asking my husband, I described them as electrical wires in the sky. Remember the time I got so high I forgot the word for spoon and called it a bowl fork for an entire night? My friend forgot the word for a sleep mask and instead said eye muffs. One time I was so high I couldn't think of the phrase inside voice, so I kept saying room temperature sound. I sat there thinking, man, it'd be great if they made like socks, but for your hands. Thought I had a great idea. 10 seconds go by and then, oh yeah, gloves. When I was young, one time I got so high I opened my door to my room and it squeaked and I thought my door was crying, so I gave it a kiss and said, "I'm sorry." I'm so high I thought a paper towel rolling down the street was a squirrel with a gun. Oh, I'm so high I thought this was New York City. I'm so high I tried to plug my phone charger into the roll of bread in my hand. I'm so high I tried to dip my chicken nugget into my phone. Just got so high I tried to delete someone else's tweet. I should have the power to do that. It was an awful take. Made a cup of tea with cold water and proceeded to put the entire concoction into the microwave. When I discovered that the door wouldn't close because the mug was too big, I tipped a bit of water from the mug and tried again. How big was this fucking mug? Asking the real fucking questions right here. My modus operandi used to be going to get my laundry, forgetting the goal and walking past the laundry room, arriving in the kitchen and engaging in deep cognitive dissonance as to why I was in the kitchen. Are you a sim? Bow ass Berkasmic. Don't know if this counts, but when I was getting a root canal for for a crown, I was given some pretty good shit. The only thing I remember is the dentist telling me, "Oi mate, stop licking my drill." One time I was so high at work that instead of saying bye to a customer, I clapped. One time I was so high I paid for gas and left the car at the gas station. I walked halfway home, then I realised I left a whole ass car. One time I was so high I put on a hoodie, and as I put my head through, I truly believed I was Jesus coming out of the Virgin Mary. The fuck did I just read, sdafadsgftgdrfhdgfhrh? One time I got so high I said, "I feel like a parallelogram." One time I got so high and had an existential moment about time, where I realised that dogs don't have time the way we do. All I could say was, dogs don't know it's Wednesday. One time, I was so high that I convinced myself that when my nipples ache, it's book Demi Lovato is going through some shit and needs me to send her good vibes. Through my tits. We need to take your phone away. One time I was so high I thought I was chewing gum, but I was just biting my tongue. Oh my god. One time I was so high that I didn't want to be high, so I started blowing air out of my mouth, thinking I could reverse the high process. One time I got so high I convinced myself I saw Slender Man, but it didn't even bother me.
Oh, you all right, mate? Oh, he's in a mood. Anyway, lastly,
I'm so fucking stoned, I decide to try the deli counter for the first time ever, and I see this little container on the counter. I start to panic and scramble to find a tip for what my high mind decided was a tip jar. I get my order, smile at the deli person, and make eye contact with her as I go to put $2 in the jar, but it isn't a tip jar. It's a trash can for the tickets, and we're still making eye contact. And I slowly die as I have to commit to my mistake and stuff my money into the trash can. The mental image of someone staring into the eyes of the deli worker while they throw $2 into the garbage had me cry laughing. The most epic power play. Dominance asserted. Alpha status achieved. Disposable money flexed. Highness godlike. Hotel Trivago. Sorry, I'm high. When I was 6, I saw my cousin playing The Sims 2 at a family thing, and I wanted to make my...
Oh my holy moly. Dude, guys, we are cooked. Look at the guy named Nameless. That is me. We are